Next up is Rollie Williams, a Brooklyn-based comedian, video editor, and guy with both student debt and climate science and policy degree from Columbia University. He is a creator and host of the digital comedy series Climate Town. It's great. You should watch it if you haven't yet. And is also the co-creator and co-host of the Climate Deniers Playbook, which is exactly what it sounds like. He has one of the most deranged Al Gore impressions I've ever seen, and I hope we get to see it later today. Please welcome to the stage Rollie Williams.
Thank you so much. And also, I kicked over my water bottle right as I came up, and you saved it, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let me get this microphone up here. All right, so the other three presenters, those are the more sort of serious ones, and so it's just all smooth sailing from here. So it's all a little relaxed. All right, so I'm going to talk a little bit about telling long-form climate stories, so longer. Some might say punishingly long. All right, so has anyone heard of Climate Town, this YouTube page? Thank you so much. A little bit of an away game for me, it seems like. Not a lot of people. So I'm just going to drop like a 1-minute clip here, so just so you get a sense of what these YouTube videos that I'm making are, and then we'll talk about it a little bit. I have an apology to make. See, lately I've been coming down pretty hard on the oil and gas industry, and I didn't realize that my bad attitude was having a negative impact on real people like Natalie Smith and Carrie White. See, they're part of a grassroots movement known as Women for Natural Gas. And while I'm taking cheap shots, they're out here every day supporting their fuel of choice. And they're hoping they can set an example for women all over the world. And I would just like to tell Natalie and Carrie that I am sorry. I really would like to. But I can't, because Natalie Smith and Carrie White are not real people. They were made up by a massive consulting firm hired by a bunch of oil and gas companies who were concerned that some upcoming regulations might have a negative impact on their bottom line. In this case, FTI did the totally normal, not at all insane thing of setting up a group called Texans for Natural Gas, which then gave birth to Women for Natural Gas. The group then posted 2 extremely fake-sounding quotes praising the virtues of natural gas, then attributed these quotes to at least 5 completely different women. Of the women who supposedly said the quotes, 3 are stock photographs available here, 1 was taken without permission from a random photographer in the Philippines, and 1 was the picture of an editor at LinkedIn who had no idea Women for Natural Gas existed or that they were using her picture. And just as a quick side note, in order to get this particular version of Natalie Smith on Shutterstock, someone would have had to search something like positive African American healthy skin and then buy the photo and then put it next to a quote that this woman did not say. But you don't have to take my word for it. For the price of a Shutterstock subscription, I got a whole army of Natalie Smiths backing me up right now. All right, so that is the kind of thing. Thank you so much. I will note that video goes on for another 20 minutes, so it gets a little long. In a single word, exhausting. It's a little exhausting, but I have a really nice time. We're going to just quickly talk some stats. We're at about 547,000 subscribers, which I'm very happy with. We're trying to increase that. We're going for the #1 spot on YouTube, which of course has 178 million subscribers. Difference of any mathletes in the crowd tonight? What's that? What do I got to make up? What kind of ground? Anybody? Quick math? A lot. I want some actual math and not some vague generalities screamed at me, please. 177.5 million. Let me see. 177.5 million. Oh, what? It went up? Oh, because my channel is a rounding error on the channel of Mr. Beast. So I got a lot of room to make up, so let's get right into this. I'm making video essays here, and does anyone have a working definition of a video essay? Because I tried, and I got really vague with it before I was okay with it. Basically, any video with research, perspective, and an argument, that's what I'm trying to make on my YouTube channel. I just think it's a really great way to communicate longer, more nuanced things if you've got the time. Most of the time, you don't have the time. I see a couple of you guys sleeping right now or like falling asleep. I get it. I get it. We don't always have 20, 30 minutes to have somebody's full undivided attention. But when you do, you can kind of bring them along a little more of a narrative, and you can get more of the nuances of climate change across. Because let's face it, there's 2 things about climate change, right? Everybody knows it's the biggest problem facing us today, and it's super boring and no one wants to talk about it. which is a very difficult combination to overcome. So here are a few video essays that I really like. We're just going to briefly talk about these. I don't actually know any of these people. I just really like their work. You maybe have seen these before. They're all worth a watch. Take a picture on your phone or ask me afterwards. I'll send you a screenshot. What all of these are not, they're not all short. This one is 6 minutes and 54 seconds. This one's 4 hours and 18 minutes. I've seen both of them multiple times. I don't have a vibrant social life, obviously. They don't all cut to clips. This one from user Nakey Jakey, who's an amazing YouTuber, that cuts to about 100 clips. ContraPoints, Natalie does not cut to any clips. It's just all her on camera. There's almost nothing that these guys all have in common except for they all have a story. They all have a beginning, middle, and end. They have some compelling characters. They're trying to get one important thing across. And they also leave you with a sort of what you can do about it at the end. All right, so that's what we're trying to do at Climate Town, and I just want to run through my process that I use in case it's helpful to you guys as you guys are going out and crafting your own climate content. Let me just get a quick show of hands of like who out there is making any kind of content in the climate or climate adjacent space. Anybody? Okay, cool, very cool, very cool. And I hope after this presentation, a couple more hands go up. I hope this inspires you. I hope you look at me and you're like, well, I could probably do that. So I hope that's what happens at the end of this. All right, so number one thing we do is we start with the one thing that fascinates you. So like just one really critical fact that you might tell somebody at a party of some kind. So in this video that we just saw the first clip of, it was that fake trolling website called Women for Natural Gas that didn't really exist, and like we were able to find all the stock photographs, and that really felt like, oh, they'll just do anything, you know, like this is a group that is run by a fossil fuel company. They just the social contract is broken, and that was a really interesting piece to me. We did a video about gas prices. I saw those like Joe Biden stickers on the gas pumps that just say I did that, and I was like, the president is not in charge of the gas prices. So we made this video. And also, like, remember when gas prices really, really cratered a couple years ago? And, like, the stickers were still there? And so it's like, wait, so you're into this now? Like, we like the logo? I don't know. And then the far one over there, this amazing sting operation on an Exxon lobbyist. Does anybody hear about this story? Where this group from Greenpeace and from England worked on, they got this Exxon lobbyist on camera just speed confessing to all sorts of stuff that Exxon actually did because he thought he was in a job interview for a different thing. It's truly amazing. Go watch the original interview. There's a lot of clips in the video that I put up. But there's just this one kind of kernel of an idea, and then that's your jumping off point for the rest of it. So number two is then you research like someone's trying to kill you. So this is my favorite part of the job. You have this kernel, right? This idea like, oh, I want to look into this ExxonMobil lobbyist, this sting operation. And so you launch back, you go back to the 1970s and the 1980s, and you try to find all of the yellowing PDFs that Exxon sent internal memos on. You go back to the first time in recorded history that like ExxonMobil upper leadership back in 1977 or 1979, when Dr. James Black like told them about climate change. You go all the way to the future when they're like denying the existence of climate change. You really try to find all of the information, even if you're going to cut it, even if it doesn't make it into the script. Just like being a short-term expert on whatever topic, you get a lot of value out of that. And then you figure out what the shape of the story is. So you might have researched for a full day this time that ExxonMobil gave money to the American Petroleum Institute for a specific thing, and you thought that was really going to be in your video, and then it just doesn't fit into the shape, so it gets cut, and you just have to sort of kill your darlings a little bit. But ultimately, we wanted in the video we've been talking about, we kind of framed it as that lobbyist was in the Shaggy "It Wasn't Me" song, and trying to like kind of deny that it was him, and that became the narrative for the whole story. So like we found the shape of it out of something that already exists. And then number four, figure out how you want your video to look. So what's the style, what's the theme? Is it you on camera? Is it you behind the camera? Is it just voice? Is it just all stock imagery? So that's kind of before you shoot anything. All of these have very, very different styles, but they all have distinct styles. If I saw a ContraPoints video without Natalie in the video, I would know it's a ContraPoints video. If I saw a Folding Ideas video, it would be clear before he even comes on screen that that's his video. Write the script, and it's okay if it's bad. And then shoot the script, it's okay if it's bad. I have personally made no fewer, this is a conservative estimate, 300 garbage dog shit videos. I have made terrible content in my life. I was an editor for 2 years, and my job was make one shitty video a day for this company that, because they just wanted videos. I would make a shitty video every day. I'd clock out at 5 and be like, I'm so glad my name is not on that video. I did that every day for 2 years. There's so much trash that I have put out into the ecosystem of digital media, and I'm sorry. On behalf of myself, I'm sorry for doing that. But I've made some bad, unwatchably bad stuff is what I'm trying to get the point across. And so don't let that be the barrier to why you're not making content. Like, make something bad, don't post it if you don't want to. Just like finish it and feel like you've got something done. And I think sometimes I saw a lack of hands over here in the content creation section, and I don't want to put it on this section of the audience because maybe I'm just misremembering, but I feel like it was over here that there were not a lot of hands, or tentative sort of 3/4 hands. Don't let that be the barrier. No one's got to see it. You could just delete it right afterwards. Okay. All right. Then you, once you shoot the video, then it's the editing phase. So edit, notes, fact-checking. These are the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, and the late horseman shows up late, and he's like, what did I miss? And it's nothing, don't worry. So you're editing this video is about cutting things out, that you wanted them in there, it just doesn't fit into the shape, it doesn't fit into the story, and these are people's attention, and these are people's time that you are monopolizing, right? And you want to fulfill a deal with them. If they take their personal time, they have one life to live on this planet, okay? Don't feed them garbage. Make the cuts if they're not good. Cut it out. So that's the editing phase. Then get notes. People you trust, people you like, talk to them. Show them your work. Show them your stuff. Get feedback. Take the feedback. Don't feel bad when you get critical feedback. It's all for you. Unless you got a friend who's like a little bitter that they're not where you are, then don't listen to that feedback. And then fact-checking. Don't round off the corners of the truth just because it's useful for your narrative. That is not the way of climate science. There is the truth out there. Find the truth, get to the truth, and re-record if it's not working for you. All right. I have like a little clip that I spent maybe 3 weeks researching this giant section of the oil prices video where we wanted to talk about every little curve in the price of oil, the global price of oil. We wrote it. It was 7 pages. It was like 12 minutes. We rewrote it. It was 6 pages. It was 10 minutes. And then we cut the whole thing, and then we just turned it into this. So I'm going to show you the clip that took me weeks and weeks to research and ends up being basically a joke at the end of it.
And speaking of a gross oversimplification of how things work, I now present the past 20-ish years of the global oil market. But first, we gotta take a trip back to Chartown, baby. Hot crackers! Oil prices are coming up fast in the early 2000s as instability in the Middle East and the invasion of Iraq reduces OPEC supply, and oh no! Here comes Hurricane Katrina absolutely ham-yammying the oil refineries in the Gulf Coast. Global supply goes down, and what's this? Global demand for oil is surging due to the emerging markets in Asia. We've got ourselves a good old-fashioned price increase, friendos. More global tension from North Korean nuclear testing, Israel and Lebanon at war, and 1,000 other problems give oil markets the heebie-jeebies. They want to buy that oil. Demand spikes, and oil is $100 a barrel, $120 a barrel, $140 a barrel. Good Charlotte, that's an expensive barrel. And since every major form of transportation and construction is addicted to oil, every government, business, and individual in the world has no choice but to buy that oil at outrageous prices. Companies' budgets are stretched razor thin, and any little snap could force them into bankruptcy. But I think things are going to be just fine for the year 2008. Oh no! The U.S. housing market crashes and a global recession tips business after business into bankruptcy. Demand for oil plummets and oil prices crash to $32 a barrel. Things are terrible, but the world economy is clawing its way back and demand increases. Then we've got the Arab Spring and the collapse of Libya taking millions of barrels of oil off the market. Supply goes down. You know what that means. The price of that good old French Kevin just went up. Oh, here comes Russia attacking Ukraine in 2014. Supply goes down, prices go up, but wait a minute, what's that sound? It's the fracking boom from the USA, and they're fracking the absolute molasses out of North Dakota and the Permian Basin, flooding the market with oil. But as supply goes up and prices go down, a bunch of those U.S. fracking companies go out of business because fracking isn't profitable and oil is under $60 a barrel. Talk about boom and bust, baby! Plus, it turns out there's a whole bunch of other problems with fracking, and now OPEC is playing chicken with U.S. fracking companies and also a million other factors, and oh my God, what a ride. But if I know my stuff, 2020 is going to be smooth sailing forever. And then knock knock, it's a global pandemic, and everything shuts down.
All right, thank you. That was so much of my life that went into just a minute and a half. So ask me about petroleum markets after this, for the love of God, please. I got to get use out of that information. All right, once you've got your video done and it's all figured out and you want to actually post it, looking at you guys, this section of the room, packaging, releasing, promotion. So unfortunately, you got to spend time on the packaging phase. You got to make the thumbnail look all stupid like this with a dumb little series of words. I don't have a word for this. Thumbnail text, that's the word for that. Dumb thumbnail text, and once you do that and you can send it out to all your friends, and then the next day you take a day off, and the next day you do it again. So what this is saying, this is a fucking ton of work. And luckily, it's not just a one-person job. You gotta form a team. You don't gotta, but you should. Good Lord, you should. I used to do this in my bedroom, and one time I made my girlfriend get up at 1 a.m. to take a video of me outside of a BP station, and it almost ended the relationship. So for the love of God, form a team. I'm going to rip through the team. This is the current core team. It's the Climate Town, the team. First up, Nicole Conlon. She looks like if a vampire learned to computer hack. She wrote that joke. It's okay to laugh at. It's okay to laugh at it. She currently writes for The Daily Show, but when she's got time, she comes in and helps co-host the podcast. And she's very, very funny, and I met her in elementary school. So if you got any elementary school friends, great well to draw from. All right, then Ben Bolt, very detail-oriented, executive producer. We call him Benny Details. Then we got Matt Nelson, and I know what you're thinking. Didn't we just see him? No. Those are completely different guys. How dare you? No, don't clap at that. How dare you? They are completely different guys. One of them is Matt, one is Ben. I haven't figured out which, and at this point, it's too late to ask. All right, this is Matt Nelson. Genius, honest to God, genius. Former grid pipeline engineer turned comedian. One of a kind. You can't have him. Sorry, he's my friend. We call him Math Nelson. So freaking smart. The TLDR, I think, is make something you'd want to watch. You know, make something you'd want to watch that gives you the feeling that you wanted to see in that video, and you can't go wrong. Thank you so. Wow. I've never. Wait, no. I've never had an involuntary swallow in the middle of what I felt like was the closer before. I want to take a second to feel this. What does this feel like? It feels bad, but I'm glad I told you about it, because now I feel good. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Appreciate it.